it hurts, you ain't the brakes, we'll get you, don't let up, put on more steam. Projectile kickers, our quarterback, our leading our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, through the games after this win in. Press you again, here for the first minute. Carry the body, keep it there for 60 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be. Doesn't have to be perfect, ain't gonna be perfect. We go compete for 60 freaking minutes. All right, enjoy the opportunity, enjoy the environment, and then go play our butts off, play for one another, and have a hell of a lot of fun. Everybody got me?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Do you remember when we fell in love? I remember, don't worry. Do you remember? I remember how it all began. How could I ever forget? It's the first time. Do you remember? I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it coming in the air now. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. It's coming in the air now. Oh, no. We fell in love. You remember time. How could I ever forget? You remember time. Oh, no. We fell in love. You remember time. How could I ever forget? Coming in the air now.
StreamYard is broken. I think China is angry at Talkin VAWLS, and StreamYard is broken. Can we try this again? Can we just start over? Can we try this again?
Team makes 2 6 win. Play for makes breaks, one goes always score. If it hurts, you ain't the brakes, we'll get you, don't let up, put on more steam. Projectile kickers, our quarterback, our leading our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, through the games after this win in. Press you again, here for the first minute. Carry the body, keep it there for 60 minutes.
Did StreamYard kick all of you guys out too?
Yeah, I didn't get kicked out.
No,
Everybody got what is going on? Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. COVID is here. China is attacking. God knows what's going to happen in this stream. But we're here to talk Tennessee football. Goodness gracious, what a horrible start to the night. But we're going to have a good time, man. We got a fun show planned, all kinds of fun clips. We got some fun clips to get into tonight. We're gonna monetize other people. We're going to monetize Bammers. We're going to monetize Alabama fans, and we're going to make fun of them. We're going to talk about whether or not the tide is turning. Is that the tide is turning? Coach Rice, is that a little corny to say?
Yeah, it's a little cheesy, I guess. But hey, as long as they're sinking in the toilet, it's all good with me.
around the bowl and down the hole.
Yeah, it gets flushed either way.
Well, that's where we're going to go. We're going to open the show with that. We got all kinds of fun stuff lined up. We're going to get into it all. Man, what a horrible start. I'm completely thrown off. I didn't know if it was COVID brain or if it was you all or if it was the internet or if it was StreamYard. But we're going to get into it. We're going to do this thing. Do us a favor, though, man. Smash the thumbs up. Share out the link. Let people know we are live. We would greatly appreciate it. Let's go back. Let's see who the early arrivals were. Who showed up first? Oh, my gosh. It makes me want to puke. Retro was the first person. Was he really the first person here? Is that really how we started the show with Retro? Retro was the first person here?
I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none.
Foul Mink says, when do we get a Rise of the Vols series? We could probably do that now. Tim Rice is here. What's up, brother? Joe Brown is here. Is Boog running later? Is my phone tweaking? Apparently, StreamYard does not like us. Apparently, they do not like us. Adam Huckleby is here. Says 29 likes. Let's get to 50 before he starts. I don't even know where we're at. But, yeah, smash the thumbs up. Quick, free, and easy. Kenny Jones. Dude, Kenny Jones. My old man called me yesterday. I'm dying of COVID. Feeling awful. My old man calls me. Call him back. Having a conversation, and he was like, yeah, did you know you're my stepmom? I'm not trying to dox myself. Her brother loves your show. And I was like, I don't know that I recognize his name from the chat. And then I pop in here tonight. He's one of the first names that I recognize. So shout out to Kenny. It's a small world. He listened to the show and had no idea that I was who I was. So that's always good fun. Guys, come on in, pull up a chair, crack open a beer. Let's have a good time tonight. Tony Canada has been a member for 7 months. He also drops a $2 super chat and says, sorry, it couldn't be more. Don't ever apologize for a $2 super chat. I say all the time, if you've got the money and want to donate, that's great. We appreciate it. If you don't, hang out in the chat and let's have a good time. But the haters hate. The haters hate when you guys drop big-time super chats, and I may or may not have a little something special. May or may not have a little something special for you guys if you drop a hundo. You know, we play Rocky Top for the Orange Boys. We play the $1 Million Man for 50 spots. I got a little something special for the haters if we get a hundo tonight. So we'll see what happens. Foul Ming drops a $5 super chat. Says, Dorothy, hope you're feeling better, pal. Colt of 8. Coach Rice said, who are you? Like, I don't even recognize your voice. Yeah. Hey, I'm healthy enough to stream. Jeff 10 says, Vol World Order. Yeah, we appreciate you, Jeff. Good to see you in the chat. Tom just became a member of the channel. We appreciate you, Tom. Thank you for the support. Knoxville Predator Catcher for 10 says, Retro, the Georgia fan, makes sense when you realize the last time Georgia was a title competitor was in the 80s. GBO. I don't know that that's necessarily the truth, Knoxville Predator Catcher, but we'll allow it because we hate Georgia fans. Oh, my gosh, my screen locked up again. What is going on with StreamYard? Good old Nate Pruitt drops a 20 spot. That's Orange Boy. We'll play the freaking clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Nate Pruitt for 20 says, cover charge Boogie for last night and tonight. Howdy, Coach Jay, Coach Rice, Dauber, God bless, and go Vols. Shout out, Nate. We appreciate you, brother. Last night got canceled. Yeah, I tried to be cocky and arrogant and talk about an MJ flu game, and I'm like, I'm not a champion. I'm a coward. I'm going to bed because I feel like crap. We're going to do it tomorrow night. NCAA night is going to be tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, so tune in for that. Scotty Oates also drops the Orange Boy. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Boogie's gone.
Man.
It's just us.
This is going to be a long.
Oh, he's back.
This is going to be a long night if StreamYard keeps doing this.
Sorry, I was going to tell a joke, but then you came back. So continue.
You got a joke?
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So a Georgia Bulldog wide receiver, a Georgia Bulldog linebacker, and a Georgia Bulldog offensive lineman are all driving in a car. Who's driving?
The cops.
Cops.
A cop. A cop. Exactly. Good. Yeah. There you go. Go big.
I mean, is
Lord.
that a joke or is that just reality?
A little bit of both.
It's going to be a long night, boys. I can already tell. Maybe I should have just gone to bed. Scotty O's for 20 says GBO ready for the second and of 3 championships. I'm the 24-20. Good Lord have mercy. Is it him or is it me? In the 24-25 sports calendar. Let's do the dang thing. Shout out, Scotty. We appreciate the super chat, brother. Tennessee boy for 2 says Dorfee, not long now. Balls beating Lil Cuz by 50. Balls by 50. We sell a shirt that says that. East Tennessee Whiskers becomes a member. Wade Rouse has been a member for 33 months. That's a long time. Finally, Dauber has come back home. Apparently, Wade was not here last Wednesday. Go Balls, boys. We got a big season coming. I can smell it. This defense is going to be nasty. The offense is going to cook. Just wait and see. We will be in the playoff. Count it. Yeah, man, we're going to get into some predictions tonight, too. I watched J.D. Piquel. I watched Josh Pate. They made their official predictions, but neither one of them actually made a prediction. It was kind of pathetic. These are our official predictions, but we're not going to make a prediction. But I want to start with the Bammers, and I know Coach Rice has already watched this video. I saw that Nelson shared it, and then I saw that Coach Rice shared it, and then I was like, oh, we gotta watch this on the show. And I don't know this guy, 104.5, obviously ESPN. I don't know the guy he's talking about. Bama is burning. Knoxville Predator catcher for 10. Good joke, Coach J. Also, Black Metal Banjo, been a member for 13 months, says GBO, dropping those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. Coach J, do you think Bama's burning? Do you think, again, corny jokes, the tide is turning? Look, the third Saturday in October, and he's not just talking about Tennessee, Alabama, but the third Saturday in October has always been streaky, right? You can go look at the win streaks. In the 50s, Tennessee was very heavily winning. Alabama took over the early 60s, then back to Tennessee, back to Alabama. And then even going into, Philip Fulmer's time, Philip Fulmer owned Alabama for the most part. And then Alabama, of course, goes on the long run until Josh Heupel ended that in 2022. But do you think the tide's turning? Do you think Alabama, I know you were kind of high. You were kind of high on DeBoer. Do you think he can get it done at Alabama? Or do you think the pressure's on?
I think the pressure is on. I don't think, listen, the door is cracked, in my opinion. All right, is what it is. Like the door has been wedged open by several things, by the old ball coach leaving, by the Georgia Bulldogs coming into power in the SEC, by Josh Heupel coming and getting a win. I don't think certainly any Tennessee fans intimidated by Alabama and Neyland anymore. I think we kind of got to go get that win in Tuscaloosa to get that monkey off our back. But listen, I think there's 3 losses at least on this schedule for Alabama. I think that home game against Tennessee could be a loss. I think the game against Georgia could be a loss. I think Missouri could be a loss. I think LSU could be a loss. Not saying they're going to be. I think they could be. So the door is open, and I'll tell you what kind of – I asked Sports Talk Jay this the other night, but, maybe you guys can answer. Maybe Dauber can answer it. What is that going to look like if Bama drops three games in Tuscaloosa? What's that going to feel like to the recruits that have felt like Bama's Bama, and that's why they have the top class? Do they have enough faith in them to keep buying that stock in Bama and keep going there?
I tell you, to me, it is, you can look to Knoxville in recent history at a great coach that left, and then the team kind of trailed off and just kind of floundered and lost their identity in the Lady Vols. And I know we don't talk a whole lot about that and all that, but when Pat Summitt left, that kind of spelled doom and gloom for that program. And they're still kind of trying to right the ship. Nick Saban left some big shoes to fill. And I tell you, I don't care what DeBoer's done in the Pac-12 is not the SEC. We've talked for, ad nauseum about coaches coming to the SEC to, it's different. It's different football. It's different week in and week out. You are getting your best shot. Everybody is coming at you. And it's like a shark, man. Blood's in the water. Everybody's coming. So it's going to be different. Now, don't get me wrong. Bama's they've still got horses in the stable. They still got, 4 or 5 stars stacked up, coming in, and there's little drop off between, the first team, second team, third team. They're all studs, but it's a whole different coaching philosophy. The culture's different. So it is. You look at the flip side. You look at Tennessee, and you look at how Coach Heupel has changed the culture, and changed the mindset, and changed how people think about this program. You look at the recruiting that is going on right now because of that culture and that mindset, and it is a little bit of a shift. So the third Saturday in October it's huge, and it is, I don't want to call it a must win because I hate using that, but for Josh Heupel and for Tennessee, it's a big game. You get that first W over this new coach at Alabama, and that just sets the wheels in motion. Boogie talked about the streakiness of this series, and yeah, it is one of those. So you get that first one, and man, that could set the momentum and set the tone for the series. And
then that goes for Florida too, right?
Yeah,
like
he
beats
absolutely.
Florida in Neyland Stadium. He beats Alabama in Neyland Stadium. He's won 2 of the last 3 against 2 of the big 3. I want to hit these real quick because this one's funny. I'm about to cough while I read this. How are you so sickly? You don't get out of the dungeon. I work in a hospital. I'm never sick. Have you ever heard of a 4-year-old, James? Have you ever been around a 4-year-old that all they do is shove their hand up their nose and in their mouth? Like that 4-year-old brings it all home. And Lee Honda Hill asking for shadow banned. I've said the word COVID 72 times in the last 48 hours. So yeah, we may be shadow banned. Let me hit a couple of these real quick. A valued client becomes a member of the channel. Shout out, valued client. We appreciate you. Gage drops a $5 super chat. What's up? Good to see you guys. Can't believe it's football time in Tennessee. GBFO. I don't know what that F stands for. Like I get GBO.
Uh-oh.
I had to cough my throat out. I get GBO, but I don't get GBFO. I told you guys what was happening. I mean, look at this. I mean, that's a hundo. That's a hundo. This is for the haters.
He wants to do the surprise.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money
Every time you guys drop a hundo, they're shedding tears of joy. They're not shedding tears of joy. I'm shedding tears of joy. They are crying. They are whining. They're saying, why would he buy a house by stealing money from? Why would he buy a Jeep by stealing money from? He's a crook. He's a criminal.
Ludicrous going in on the verse because I never been defeated.
Value cut for a Honda. Shout out value clients. We appreciate those hundos, those $100 to the channel.
Like strippers' booties go.
Shout out value client. We appreciate it. Biggest super chat of the night.
That's
we appreciate you, my man. Let me go ahead and update. Let me go ahead and update the leaderboard. Man, I think probably 5 or 6 people are kicking their door right now. They're so pissed off. They don't understand. They don't understand why. Why did he get a super chat that has more viewers than I have on my live streams? Like they're so upset about that. But shout out value client. Very generous super chat. It's all in fun. It's all in fun. Let's take a listen to this video because this is all in fun too. Stephen T. Everybody having a good laugh. Everybody having a good laugh. Coach Ross, I know you've already watched the video, so I'm going to start it and then we'll let you chime in on it.
Boy, those Bammers took another one on the chin. Not sure if you saw it, but linebacker Jaden Harmon announced he's flipping his commitment from Alabama to Tennessee. 4-star linebacker, number 18 linebacker in the entire country, number 155 overall. Decommitted from Alabama, said, "Hey, Kalen DeBoer, pah! Give me my music. What are we doing?"
Does anybody know who this guy is? Because he's hilarious. He should be on YouTube, not ESPN. He's an entertainer. He's an entertainer. I am entertained. Are you not entertained? I'm entertained.
Yes.
All right, let's go.
Good.
He wants his music.
Every time I see misery cast upon the Alabama Crimson Tide and their goofball fan base. These entitled nincompoops whose glorious run has come to an end. Louder. Every time I see it, I wonder to myself, has the time come to bury the Bama is burning bit? Has the time come to bury the Bama is burning bit? I think to myself as a broadcaster, eventually you have to advance the bit. There has to be like a heel turn or something, like in wrestling. And I think to myself, maybe it's not going to play this time. Maybe people won't be interested. And then I do it inevitably. LSU fans rejoice. Bama fans melt. They end up saying heinous and vulgar things in my Twitter mentions.
Sounds like every day of my life. Coach Rice, what do you think about this? What are we? We're barely into this thing. We're 2 minutes into this thing. Is Bama burning? And what does it take for their fans to melt down in 2024? Because I think 9-3 is going to cause a meltdown.
I think 9-3 is definitely going to cause a meltdown. I think it's going to be more. I think their offense is going to score points, but I think their defense is physically give up 30 points at 35 points a game, because I ain't buying their defense this year. I mean, I think they have some playmakers, but DeBoer's known track record as an offensive coach, and the defense is pretty far behind. So I think 9-3. I could easily see 8-4. I know Coach Jay mentioned he saw 4 losses. I ain't saying they're going to lose 4 games, but I could see them losing 4 games. DeBoer is very high qualified X's and O's guy on the offensive side of the ball. Schemes up plays, kind of like every good offensive coordinator, offensive coach does. But I just think the defense is going to be far behind what the offense brings at Alabama this year. And I do think they're on the downfall. I'm not saying it's going to be a quick downfall, kind of unfortunately like what we saw at Tennessee. But I do think the Tide, the momentum, I'm tired of using Tide, the momentum is changing, and the streak is changing in favor of Tennessee.
How many 2-loss seasons will Bama tolerate in a row, Coach Rice?
It won't be much. And they've rid the glory and the dynasty for too long. They're the Alabama pressure from the fans and the boosters and the donors and the media. The media will be damning DeBoer if they have multiple 2-loss seasons. I mean, just imagine if they have back-to-back 3-loss seasons. I mean, that
would be over.
Yeah, and that's crazy to think, but that's the case. That the Alabama and Georgia and maybe Ohio State, but only 3 schools I can see allowing that. I mean, not allowing that.
Let me hit this $10 super chat from Papa J. It's good to see Papa J back in the house for 10. I think we all know what the F in FUGA is. Retro knows.
Dang right, Papa J.
Maybe. I don't know what it means in GBFO, but I do know what it means in FUGA. Maybe if I could find it. I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none. Man, I didn't realize how bad I was coughing until we started actually talking. Let's hear more. This is an epic rant. Let's hear more.
And I just laugh at him.
Let's be honest. When you guys watch him, are you laughing? Because I feel like I'm on here.
Yeah, I'm laughing.
And I act like a psychopath like this guy. And you three sit down there and you're like, let me be analytical and break this down, Mr. Bentley. I would like to talk some X's and O's. And I'm out here going, and you all are all trying to be so serious. And that's maybe, I'm glad you guys are entertained by him, because maybe you guys don't hate me or think I'm a complete idiot if you're entertained by this guy.
You need to slap your desk a little more, though.
What game does?
Well, see, that's what happens because I can. Oh, now my camera's off. Thanks, Dauber, for giving me a new bit that messed everything up.
Does Alabama want to win more than any other, Alondra? You tell me. What game?
LSU game?
No,
Texas?
Alondra. No, come on. Alondra, shut up your mic. Polly.
That chick just got fired. That chick just got fired. She. I'm not going to say that. She just got fired is all I'm going to say. Let's hear more.
What game does Alabama want to win more than any other every year?
Auburn game.
It's the Auburn game, the Iron Bowl. After that, what's their second biggest rival? The reason we have this awful scheduling system in the SEC year after year after year with all these stupid permanent opponents when nobody else does that because it's stupid. What is it?
Tennessee.
It is Tennessee. Thank you, Paulie. Third Saturday in October. Smoking cigars on the field. Oh, Tennessee, Alabama. Bama won a bajillion in a row. They had to get Butch Jones on their staff so he can finally win one. Well, you know what happened now, Crimson Tide? The Tide has... Give me that again. Louder. Go louder. Start it over from the beginning. I don't want this part. That part sucks. This is the part I want. You know what happened now?
That's the best.
I know why there's 400 people watching in the chat, because everybody in the chat's going, I love this guy. He's great. And he's not said anything yet. He's not said a single thing yet other than put on a show. So I understand why you guys are here.
You're losing recruits to Tennessee.
I hate this part, though.
Top linebackers out of the state of Georgia who have been committed to Kalen DeBoer and Kane Womack. It's spelled Womack, but he says Womack because that's what we do in the South. And said, hey, you know what? Kane Womack and Kalen DeBoer, that's too many cuz. I'm going to Rocky Top. I'm going to play in front of the quietest 100,000-seat stadium ever.
Oh.
What are your thoughts on that?
Oh,
when he says the quietest 100,000.
He can eat dirt. I mean, that's... I said in my tweet, I said, I love the first part where he's down in Alabama, but then he could go shove it somewhere when he starts talking bad about Tennessee.
But what do you like?
Bold. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Coach Jay.
I was just going to say bold words from a 100,000 people stadium that got drowned out by volunteer fans last time we played. Bold words indeed.
But let's talk about where Tennessee's been at before Josh Heupel. Right, when they were talking about reducing the seating and everybody was in a panic and everybody was freaking out, they hadn't sold out a game in a long time. Now we're selling out every single freaking week. Every week that stadium is packed full, jammed to the rafters. They don't have rafters in Neyland Stadium, but if they did, we would be stacked up to the top. We got people, commenting every week saying, Boogie, can we go three decks? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea if that would happen or not. What are your thoughts on that, Dauber? It has been kind of quiet in Neyland Stadium lately, but guess what? Times are changing.
I don't know, man. I've been to a couple games every year. You give me the Oklahoma game. It is loud in Neyland when you're in there on the field. There are times when that place just erupts. And the thing is, Tennessee fans and their passion, regardless of, we talked about the fall of the Vols and all the dark times that we've gone through. Tennessee fans still show up. They show out, and man, it's electric when you get in Neyland. You get in Neyland on a night game. You know, it's something else. It's hard to be there and not kind of have that little bit of hope, that little bit of even in the bad times, you're kind of like, okay, well maybe we come out of it. Maybe it's this week. But I will say that it did pale in comparison to, you know, when I was in school. In the early 90s when I went to games with my dad, you know, it was different, but it's still something else. Neyland, I don't know that you can call it, you know, a quiet place when you're there. I guess Boogie's gone again. Coach Jay, what do you think about Neyland?
I mean, I think it's special, man. It's been super loud. I've been there. Maybe I've been spoiled because, you know, if I'm going out there, it's probably for a big game, right? So when I go out there, it's always been magical, man. It's always been a huge crowd and special, man. Like I said, I mean, the last 2 times was great that I was there. South Carolina last year, of course. Got to hang out, and then before that, 2016, got to take my son. You know, it was his first Tennessee game he ever went to live, so pretty cool game for your first game, right? That 16 Florida game, but yeah, man, Neyland is special. I've been in a lot of special environments. I was in the Rose Bowl when Vince Young beat USC. I've been in some big games before, and Neyland, when it's rocking, man, is better than anything.
You can't tell me that there's a single stadium and atmosphere that tops Jawan Jennings catching the ball going down the sideline against Florida in 2016.
That was a big moment.
You can't, and
the lid came off the place.
And when Tennessee's up 17-0 in against Oklahoma in 2015, you can't tell me that there's a better environment when that kick goes through the field goals knuckling against Alabama in 22. Even when Tennessee, the game they lose to Ole Miss in 21, I was there. You can't tell that.
Oh, it was insane. It was nuts.
That second quarter was insane.
Electric.
I mean, insane. Dark mode, lights were like everything was engaged. You can't tell me that there's a better atmosphere. The only one I would compare anywhere close to Neyland Stadium is LSU at night. That's the only one that I would kind of close to compare, and Tennessee's still above that. I mean, you can't, until you personally have witnessed it, you can't say it's not the best.
We got another super chat here. Ron the Don for 10. Don't know if it was mentioned, but the big jumping mouse was having a full 15-minute rant about Tennessee, and Bleed Orange was giving him holy hell about it. Too funny. Who's the big jumping mouse?
I guess this guy. I don't know.
Is that who he's talking about?
I don't know.
A full 15-minute.
Clarify, Ron.
Yeah, Ron, what are you talking about? We appreciate you, Ron. We appreciate the super chat. Let's hear the end of this rant here.
Wear gaudy, ugly orange. I'm in a genuflect before a dog, a hound.
I'm with you, Coach.
I'm going to run out of a tee in a checkerboard end zone because that's better than dealing with you. Pah!
Kangaroo Black.
You know what Jaden Harmon said? That's his name, right? You know what Jaden Harmon said? Do you want to know what Jaden Harmon said?
What did he say?
Jaden Harmon said, I don't feel like burning my feet when I walk in Tuscaloosa because that mofo is burning to the ground.
let's catapult here, because that's the perfect segue, because he's talking about Jaden. He's talking about Jaden flipping and switching and committing to Tennessee. And look, here's the deal. I got a whole page of notes. I have 2 sentences that we've covered. We're 35 minutes in. Is Bama failing? Play the Twitter clip. That's what I've got, and we're 35 minutes into the show. So that just tells you guys how Talkin VAWLS goes. But I do want to talk a little bit of recruiting, because he talked about Jaden Harmon flipping. You know, you got David Sanders on Saturday. You got Jaden Harmon on Sunday. Tennessee's winning some big boy battles against Alabama, against Ohio State, against Georgia. Like, look at what they've done against Georgia, going in and getting Travis Smith. I don't care. I don't care what their fans say. Travis Smith was a take at Georgia. You're an idiot if you think otherwise. I don't.
But Josh Heupel can't recruit.
Well, that's what I've been. God, Donald getting me to smack my desk has screwed up everything. That's what I've heard, is that he can't recruit. But it's not just recruiting. It's winning these battles against Georgia and Alabama. Travis Smith, Christian Gass, Shady Hayward, flipping Deshaun Brame from Oregon, Darian Smith, Faison Brandon, Carson Snead in the class of 26. You get David Sanders. You flip Jaden Harmon, and now you find yourself ranked 5th according to the On3 industry rankings. Coach Jay, talk about the momentum in recruiting. Like, it's not just the fact that we're sitting at 5th; it's the fact that we're winning these big boy battles.
Yeah, and we did it on a fall off year as well, right? Which shows you the momentum that we have under Heupel and you know, the 22 team. I think everyone could see, like, hey, we didn't necessarily have, you know, the players that we needed to get it done last year, but we were still really competitive. We might have had the worst quarterback that Josh Heupel had, but guess what? That quarterback was still an NFL draft pick and is still, last I checked, playing decent at the moment. Will that continue? That remains to be seen. But it's huge. It's huge because if they do take off this year, like a lot of us believe that they will, that momentum is going to really explode and go crazy. And it's primed, man. Look at that next class already, right? One of the top quarterbacks in the class, right? One of the top tight ends in the class. David Sanders is committed. We have big time recruits at that school, so we have kind of a pipeline set up through that state right now and through Providence Day. It's really, really good place to be in right now for Tennessee. And I'll tell you what, I was on here during our film breakdowns, and I don't remember when it first came up, but I kind of made the statement, like, it's hard to tell during the transfer portal era and NIL era, but I feel like you need a top 5 class once every 4 years. But the Vols, in my opinion, are on the verge of knocking down a top 5 class and possibly knocking down a top 1 or 2 class in the following cycle. Listen, if Nico goes out there and does what we all think he's going to do, Tennessee's gonna explode and go looking to take some Bulldogs lunch money away from them.
You brought up a good point, and I want to segue directly into this. This I got 2 clips from this same. It's a 247 Sports podcast, Unfiltered. First, they're talking about Tennessee and their success on the recruiting trail, and then they blend that into what you just mentioned, NIL, and how that plays into it. And I want to go back to something that Josh Pate said weeks ago, that it was very vague, but then this kind of sheds a spotlight on it. But this is Carl Reed Jr., Smoke Dixon, discussed Tennessee's recruiting resurgence on the latest episode of Unfiltered, citing local talent pipeline, strong financial backing as key factors in making the Vols national contenders. Let's listen to this, and then let's break it down.
How are they recruiting these players and landing their top targets?
Well, I'm going to tell you what, it's been a long time since Tennessee has been recruiting at this level. You got to go back to Phil Fulmer time almost. I talked to Jake Bresky a while ago, the director of player personnel. Number one, they're doing a great job of talent identification, Smoke.
Coach Rice, are people watching this channel? Because I feel like we've been saying this stuff for months and months and months, and now it's coming out in the national media. How important is player evaluations? I know we've already beat this horse, but they're bringing it up. So let's talk about it. How do you feel Josh Heupel's done with that?
I mean, he's hit it out of the park. It's A+, 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 when what this coaching staff and the support staff that helps with recruiting, they're identifying players early, 8th grade, freshman, sophomore year, that they can identify and target and build those relationships early that they can bring into our program, and that they also identify that they have great characteristics, not only as skill sets, but characteristics that that identify with Tennessee's culture and what they're building there as well. So the talent evaluation, it's ahead of the game. It's not just looking at the star; they're looking at what the player is, and they're evaluating it. And that's why they were so early in on Faison Brandon. He's one of the biggest ones. They were so early on Faison Brandon. Noticed him in North Carolina, evaluated him, and say, hey, that kid will be a stud in our offense as long as he's got great characteristics, got a great family. We're going to get him here, and we're going to show him how big of a priority are early. And you see how it's panned out. He's committed 2 years before his cycle is even done. So, and that's the biggest one of them all. So you got David Sanders, you recruited early. You got others that you could just keep expanding on, that they got in on very early, and they've identified their skill. They've identified what they can bring to Tennessee's program, and they hit a home run with it. I mean, it's not just Coach Heupel. It's the whole staff, the support staff, all of them. And they do such a good job with it. And that's the reason why Tennessee's blowing up in the recruiting trail right now.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on that.
Oh, well, go ahead. Go ahead, and then I'll hit these super chats.
Coach Rice, you hit it with the evaluation. I saw a comment there. Butch Jones had good recruiting classes. Yeah, but Butch Jones was star searching, and he was just going after those 4 or 5 stars. Trying to elevate that level of stars that they were bringing in, even if they didn't fit the program. Yeah. You talk about the SEC and recruiting, and I know the coaches, you guys get into it and dig deep and all that, but you have a top 10 class in the SEC. You're sitting 8 or 9. You're still behind 4 or 5 other schools in your conference. So that's the big thing here. But what Coach Heupel has done is we've gone from not just being a hat on the table to we're being the hat that's off the table. We're just conversations now. We are the conversation. We are who these guys are looking to and picking and deciding on. So that is what we talked about, this shift and the changing culture, and guys are wanting to come to Tennessee now, and that's, man, damn, that's exciting. I tell you what.
That's a T-shirt. Ron the Don says Daubernet. That's a T-shirt. Daubernet is a T. That is 110% gonna happen.
I understand.
Don't let. Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
It just sounded like a robot.
It was.
Yeah, it could have a little. It was not bad.
Robot. We got you.
It's not like me getting kicked out 17 times. Whatever the hell is going on.
No.
Kevin Smith for 2 says door fee LFGBO. Again, I don't know what all these letters mean. I know what GBO means, but shout out Kevin Smith. We appreciate you. Nicholas for 5 says, if we go 9-3, you guys disappointed? Are you afraid we lay an egg against a team this year? Stay tuned, Nicholas. We're going to talk game by game breakdown coming up in just a little bit. So don't go anywhere. Let me come back to this video real quick.
Picking the kind of targets and the guys that they want to play in their program. They have a fertile recruiting territory. There is a lot of talent within that 4 to 6 hour radius that you circle around Knoxville, Tennessee. They have unbelievable fans, sellouts every single game, and they have an environment that is second to none, Smoke, at Rocky Top.
Well, Reed, you know what?
He's going to make a point here, but this was the question I threw at Coach Jay just on Sunday, talking about how Tennessee's had success going back into North Carolina, right? We've seen him go land Faison Brandon. We've seen him go land David Sanders. Like that's the number one offensive tackle in this class and the number one overall player in the next class. And then we've also seen him going to Georgia. Like we said, going into this segment, Travis Smith, Christian Gass, Shady Hayward, they're going into Georgia and landing elite talent. They're going into North Carolina and landing elite talent. I think that tells you all you need to know. But this next bit, and then I got some more coming up after this. But let's hear this.
What I'm gonna get to, I'm gonna get straight to the business. What they've done is done an incredible job of having a cap and a collective in order to land those top targets. They've done a good job of developing relationships. Their recruiting strategy is top notch. Josh Pate touched on it a couple of weeks ago, saying they're on the move, and everybody sat back and said, nah, ain't no oranges being squeezed out of there. No, that juice is rich because they have the money to do that. They have the resources, and they have the brand name behind it. They can recruit nationally.
How much do you – let me hit the super chat real quick. Dan Yoder for 5 says, GBO, we appreciate you, Dan. Thank you for the super chat. Coach A, we talk about it all the time. It's the NIL era. NIL transfer portal, the game is different, but there's more to it than that. And you always kind of throw it back to the guys that we have created a connection with, the guys that we have formed a relationship with, whether it be Anthony Agamora or when Bennett Warren came on, right? He said NIL was never the first thing out of my mouth. There's more to it, but NIL does still play a factor in this. So when you hear him say relationships, the environment, the atmosphere, the fan base, NIL, what do you think recruiting in 2024 takes?
I think it takes all of it. I think NIL is just a piece of it. I think that there's going to be a market value out there for any said player, right? And yeah, that can be haggled over to a degree, but I think the margins that most of those battles are being won over are winnable through relationships, through program building, through the old style way of recruiting, basically, right? So I think all that's super, super important. But look, money helps. And when someone steps out and overpays for a target, look, you'd be foolish to think that doesn't matter, right? Like if someone's market value is $3 million and someone steps out and pays $5 million for them, could that change someone? Yeah. Depending on the kid, it could change them a lot. What do they value? What do they care about? What's their social economic situation and all that kind of stuff, right? So all that takes place throughout the process. But, all the other things are super important too. I think if we want to rewind back to Nico, I think Tennessee wanted to make a big splash. I think they wanted that headline. You know what I mean, to a degree. But I can tell you from firsthand knowledge that the relationship was built first, right? The bridge was built through the family first, through the coaches first, through all those kind of small relationships and getting to know each other and feeling comfortable with each other. And then it all kind of led to a big moment, and Tennessee used it as a splash moment to jump on the scene and say, hey, look, we're going to lead the way in NIL flat out. And this can be a place where you come to and get fair market value. And it shows that, we'll pay the price tag when the price tag is warranted. But I think it takes everything nowadays. And I think it can't be understated what a good job Tennessee has done about staying in front of football. Football is an ever-changing game that evolves extremely quickly, and if you're not in front of it, you're behind it. And Tennessee has done a miraculous job of staying in front of a very quickly moving landscape in college football.
All of that is why Coach J's the GOAT. Like all of that was so well said, because there's more to it than just money, but at the same time, when NIL was new on the scene, Tennessee made a statement. They said, we're going to pay $8 million. You don't think they leaked that contract on purpose? You don't think that was done by design? So everybody says Tennessee has money. And yeah, has it maybe gone against them at times with maybe a Cornell Tate or a Francis Mauigoa that are going to utilize Tennessee for leverage? Sure, but it also has benefited them, man. That was all by design. Very well said, Coach Jay. Chase drops a $10 super chat. Says, do you know what WGWTFA means? We gonna walk through free agency? I don't know.
Nailed it.
But thank you, Chase, for the super chat. We appreciate you. We love you, brother. I want to segue into it's the same show. It's the exact same show, and they start talking about NIL. And the reason I want to play this clip is because I want to take it back to, gosh, I don't remember if this is 3 or 4 weeks ago. I don't remember if I did it in a video, if it was a live stream, because it all blends together. But Josh Pate was talking about NIL at Tennessee and how they were ahead of the game. And now they had packages in place. It wasn't just money. They had NIL packages, and everything was well orchestrated. And I think this kind of shines a spotlight on it, and it's worth talking about.
So, Reed, I know that we have a prerequisite. You have your prerequisite of things that you need to see when you are a certified guy walking into that building, going in there.
Well, I'm going to tell every kid that goes into a situation, specific details should be written all out on your contract. If it's not on the contract, it's not going to happen. Who is honoring the NIL contract? You need to understand who is supposed to be paying you. Is that the collective? Did they outsource your deal to a specific corporation, business, or sponsor? You need a certified agent. I just trust the agents that are certified members of the NFLPA. That makes me the most comfortable when I'm dealing with players, and how to negotiate when you've outperformed your deal. How do you handle that? And I think that that's something that we have to look at, that you have to be evaluated. And like we touched on with Mike Gundy, there should be somebody that the player, that the agent can reach out to when it's time to really talk business and move on in the negotiation process. And here's what happens with players. I sat down with a collective this summer doing my nephew's recruitment. And one of the things you have to look, when they put the money on the table, you need to understand who is responsible for paying the money. A portion of the money comes directly from the collective, but another portion of the money could be potentially earned through outside deals. Well, what if those outside deals don't come through? You need to understand that total number may not be the whole number. It may be the minimum number, and they're telling you, we'll give you a best effort to do this. You have to understand everything that's going on in your contract, Smoke, and you got to make them put it on paper.
That is a lot to unpack. I think that is deep. I think that is dudes that are educated talking about it. Dauber, what are your thoughts? And again, the reason I thought that clip played well is because Josh Pate said a couple of weeks ago that Tennessee, it wasn't just about having money. It's not just about throwing money at kids. It's about having a plan in place and being able to present them with opportunities that make sense versus just saying, "Oh, we'll pay you $7 million."
Yeah, and I kind of touched on it last week, talking about Spire and talking about Danny White and the way that they were out in front of everybody else, out in front of, those schools down in Texas with all the oil money, out in front of all these, leading that charge, being in front allowed them to get ahead and get that, lead in the 400-meter race. They're out front, and now you do have schools with those deep pockets kind of catching up, but we're still out there. We're still pushing. We're still both the coaches have talked about it. The evaluation of guys. It is. I think that is the big key right here. It goes beyond the NIL. It goes beyond just doling out money and chasing stars and all of that. You got to get guys that fit the system, guys that fit the culture, guys that want to be there, that aren't just chasing money. And I think Coach Josh Heupel and staff, they've done a great job of, looking at guys that are super talented, but guys that are super talented and maybe they're just looking for that bag. Maybe that's all they're looking for. I can't remember. I think it was a lineman last year that talked about hosting guys on visits and how they have the free reign to kind of go to Coach Heupel and be like, hey, listen, this guy, I don't know that he'll fit in here. And it's that that kind of culture, that kind of leadership within the team that makes, bringing in guys that are going to thrive in the system, in the program. That's what makes it work, because you get guys that come in that's all they're looking for is to cash that check and make bank. That's a cancer in the locker room. And we've seen what a cancer in the locker room can do. You look in the past at a game that was in Columbia, South Carolina. You look at stuff that happened in the week that led up to that. There are things that happen that I'll go out right now and say Coach Heupel, that is probably one of the biggest wins and things that they have going right now is they are controlling, those type of things, because it's all new. It is all new in college football, and I think that's why Nick Saban left, because it is a whole can of worms that is a whole nother dynamic that you have to, as a coach, you have to control within your program. Is this whole NIL and the money and all these guys, because you can have a prima donna and a super talented kid coming in, but if it is just they're trying to leverage their talent for money and that's all it is, and it sometimes isn't going to work out, and that's what I think Coach Heupel has done an amazing job of, is navigating this, boat down the river and pulling in guys that are going to help and saying, okay, well, we're going to pass on this guy. And I know that's been a criticism. Well, why didn't we get this guy? What, this 4-star, this 5-star kid, why didn't we get him? Well, maybe we passed on him because maybe he didn't fit the system.
Let me hit this super chat real quick. Knoxville Predator Catcher for 5 says, thoughts on Oklahoma State putting QR codes on their helmets for NIL donations. I think that's reeks of desperation.
How large are they?
They're small. They're just.
Does it matter?
The reason I ask, guys, is if you guys don't know, it's not teams. I mean, teams can make a choice if they want to wear it, but it's the NCAA that regulates uniforms, even NIL advertisements on uniforms, at least right now. So all those need to be approved by the league, and there's certain things that disqualify them, like right off the bat, like if they're bigger than sub logos on a helmet or on a jersey, they can't be worn. But all things like even a QR code, at least for now, have to be approved by the NCAA. For now,
I want to circle back to NIL though. Like I get it. Josh Heupel's creating a culture. It's about relationships. I firmly believe all that. But if you're going to sign a guy like David Sanders, you're going to sign a guy like Nico, Coach Rice, the NIL is going to be involved. And that's what I want to come back to, is Josh Bates saying a couple of weeks ago that NIL, Tennessee Spire Sports Group has packages in place. Yeah. They are ahead of the game. There's more to it than just throwing money at guys. Do we have the best NIL collective in the country?
I mean, if it's not the best, it's damn near close. It's up there in the top 3. I know there's other couple colleges that are with us as far as being ahead of the game and doing things, but Danny White, Spire Sports Group, Coach Heupel, Donnie Plowman, the whole Randy Boyd, the whole administration, when NIL came into play, they were already ahead of the game. They already had a plan in place that once that NIL came into play, they already had it set. Like it's been adjusted, and there's things that's came and gone, and legal things that have changed since the very beginning of NIL. But Tennessee, Donnie Plowman, Randy Boyd, Danny White, all of them were prepared for it, and it didn't catch them off guard like I'd say 80% of the NCAA colleges did. They weren't ready. You saw the mess that came to be that schools were offering X amount of money, and they obviously couldn't afford it, and just different types of chaos where recruits are going into lawsuits because they were promised something. You don't see that at Tennessee because we have the best administration, we have the best athletic director in the country, and top 3 to number 1 sports initiative and directive where it's all for the players. Their main concern is not the sport itself. It's all about the player. They're concerned. They want to do what's best for the player. That's what those initiatives are for. That's what those directives are for. And the Spire Sports Group has hit it out of the park. I know I keep using that reference, but it's so true. You cannot do better than what the Spire Sports Group has done so far. And it showed. I know Coach Jay said it. Nico, he was the perfect show for what Tennessee was prepared to do. They were ready to haul in that big fish. You look at Florida with what happened with the Jaden Rashad. They were not ready to pull in that big fish. They were lazy with how they did their NIL. They weren't ready. They ended up with lawsuits. That's this side of the spectrum with Nico and that side of the spectrum with Jaden Rashada, where Tennessee was prepared, Florida wasn't. And the recruits see that. When they come in, they got a plan. Josh Pate explained it perfectly. They got a plan. They got a strategy for when you come in. And yes, you're going to go on your recruiting trip. You're going to go see the stadium. You're going to go do everything. You can go have fun. Go to the river. Go do everything recruit does. But you also got the segment where the players come in with the NIL, the Aspire Sports Group, and they lay out a plan for what they're going to do and what you can build that plan into being if you come into Tennessee. You have good grades, you don't act up, and you go out and perform on the field, and you show high character. So all that coming in a big old circle is why Tennessee's in the best spot position that it's been in since 1998.
Let me do some plugs and chills, and then we're going to come back and we're going to wrap up this stream. We got 400 people watching live. We appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't done it yet, hit the thumbs up. That's quick, free, and easy, and we would greatly appreciate it. If it's your first time around here, which I highly doubt it at this point, I doubt you're an hour and 2 minutes in for the first time ever. But we're about to kick things up into high gear. Guess what? Sunday night. I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know if you guys noticed, but we may have landed the biggest interview in the history of the freaking channel. You can see it right here. I tweeted it out Sunday night during the fan call-in show. I tweeted out, as confirmed on Talkin VAWLS, tonight, David Sanders, 5-star offensive tackle, will be on Talkin VAWLS pod next Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss it. And then guess what? Guess who showed some love? Austin Price. He did not have to do this, man. He did not have to do this, but he was a part of this entire story. He kind of helps, facilitate this thing. He quote tweeted, said, "Good for you, Boogie Bentley. The Sanders family loves them some Boogie." Quietly, they have been watching all the Vol content for several months. I had a phone conversation with David's father on Sunday night. He loves the channel. He loves the chat. He loves the community. He loves what this channel is all about. So David Sanders is going to be here live Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Do not miss it. This is a huge opportunity. Spoiler alert. Guess who else followed me? Guess who else followed me on Sunday after all this went down? One George McIntyre. Now, like a taunted ex-girlfriend, he didn't respond to my DM. He let me on red. He didn't respond to my DM. But George followed me. Guess who's going to be watching on Sunday? I'll tell you, boys. George McIntyre is going to be in the chat on Sunday. He's going to be watching. He's going to be lurking. He's going to be seeing what's going on. If we show up, we show out, we show love to David Sanders, I would almost guarantee. I would almost go out and on a limb and guarantee that George McIntyre will come on this channel. But we got to show up, we got to show out, and we got to show love to David Sanders on Sunday night. So be here Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's the biggest interview we've ever landed. Absolutely huge. Cannot wait. to get David Sanders on here. And shout out to Austin Price, man. When he called me on Saturday after the commitment, and he was like, man, the Sanders family came to me 2 weeks ago. How weird is this, boys? How weird is it that Austin Price said when the Sanders family came to me and they said they love what you guys are doing over there on Talkin VAWLS, and if they commit to Tennessee, they want to come on the show, he said that's when I was full steam ahead that he was coming to Tennessee. Awesome. We were a part of that. Awesome. We were a part of the intel. We were a part of the recruitment, boys. That's what we are building right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. So show up, show out, show love for David Sanders on Sunday night. That's going to be an absolute blast. But we got a stream coming up as well. What is today? Tomorrow night, we're going to do NCAA night. We're going to change the game because I was sick, COVID, I'm deaf, I'm dying. I probably won't be here, but I'm going to try to stream tomorrow night, Thursday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. But then on Friday, the next guy's coming off the board. That is Coach Shay's your favorite guy. What's his name?
Onus one Kenobi, baby.
He is coming off the board. We're going to go live. You're still good, Coach Shay. 12 o'clock, noon Eastern time?
Yeah, I got you. I'll be here.
We're gonna go live at noon. He's coming off the board at 12:45 p.m. Eastern time. More predictions. You can see here Sullen Surf tweeted out Tennessee got 2 more crystal ball predictions to land the elite 4-star defensive back. So we're going to cover that on Friday morning. We're going to go live right at noon. What's better than a lunchtime live? Come tune in for that. But then when we move into next week, man, it's full steam ahead. Monday morning, me and Eric Kane. Monday morning shows are back. Tuesday, EA Sports College Football. Wednesday, Talkin VAWLS live. Friday morning. Coach Shay, what time we going live? I've not even talked to you about this.
I don't know. Probably like 5 a.m.
What's that? I don't know what the West Coast time means.
8 o'clock. I don't know. Probably like 9. Probably like 6 my time. I'm thinking.
Oh wow, are you sure?
Like that.
Like,
I don't know. Maybe later, but I don't know. Let me.
Whatever works for you. Like if we could do 9, that would be awesome because it would match Monday. But I want you to. Whatever.
Yeah, I watched the whole Chattanooga versus Austin P game. Like a time and a half last night.
Tell me you have no life without telling me you have no life.
It was very interesting, and I have some very interesting things to talk about. We'll leave it at that.
We'll let you guys know that time frame, but we got a ton of content coming your way. But again, it's full steam ahead next week, so make sure you're dialed in, tuned in. But man, Sunday night, that's the big one. David Sanders. Evan Counts drops a $2 super chat, says a duck can pull a truck. That's what I've heard. That's what I've been told. All right, I want to do, look, man, it's game week. Next week is game week. So what I want to get into is our official. This is it. This is the end. This is the finality. It's over. No more schemes and scams. No more changing your picks. These are the official Talkin VAWLS Network predictions. I'm slapping my desk. I hope Dauber's happy. They're coming in tonight because guess what? I watched Josh Pate and I watched JD Piquel today, right before we went live, and they were doing their official predictions. And guess what? Neither one of them gave an official prediction. You know, Josh Pate talked about FanDuel, the over-under being at 8.5, 9.5, then back to 8.5. Seventh best odds to win the SEC. Georgia, Texas, Bama, Ole Miss, LSU, Texas A&M, all ahead of Tennessee to win the SEC according to FanDuel. 12th best odds to win the college football playoff national championship. Josh Pate in his video talked about James Pierce being a dude. Obviously, we know that. Nico is him. Obviously, we know that. I thought this was interesting, and Coach Jay, you can comment. Keep this in the back of your brain. You can hit this next. He said, "Can Nico make adjustments once he gets comfortable and SEC defenses start to make adjustments to him?" And then clearly, as we expect, he talked about the secondary, kind of the same old song and dance. He said best case scenario 11-1, worst case scenario 7-5. His official prediction was a joke. He said 10-2 or 9-3. Well, that's an easy way to go. JD Piquel talked about the weapons at wide receiver, which I kind of like. That's a different narrative. He talked about the defensive line. He talked about Josh Heupel and the confidence that this football team has. He said Georgia and Alabama. He said the Vols have a talent deficit, but he said if Nico is going to be good, when does it all start to come together for him? Coach A, put all these in the back of your brain because I'm coming to you next. I want you to talk about Nico adjusting once SEC defenses adjust, and I want you to talk about Nico because I thought this was a really good point. In high school, Nico was an elite player. When does he hit his stride and become that guy that elite guy that he was as a senior in high school in college. What's that adjustment time frame look like? He said if he hits that level early, they can beat anybody in the country. He said college football playoff team. He gave no real prediction. So that's what J.D. Pickell and Josh Pate said. Coach A, you hit it first because I'm throwing two questions about you to you about Nico.
First off, I think Nico is a really cerebral guy, and let's take the adjustments thing first. I think Nico is the type of quarterback that is going to be excited for when the SEC adjusts to him, because that's when he gets to, throw the Uno reverse card on you and hit you with the real strategy. It's about layers and setting traps for an offense, and I think you'll see that. I think that's the games Josh Heupel played in 22 where you'd see little wrinkles done several times in games, and then the very next week in SEC games you see the same play, but with a little wrinkle added on to it, or with a little change added on to it. I think you'll see some of that fun stuff when Nico truly hits his big boy stride and the game slows down for him and all that kind of question. I think sometime between the second half of the NC State game and maybe game 4, I think he hits it fairly early. I truly do believe that. It's why I said I was just a little worried about NC State more than Oklahoma, because I worry about the first half of that game only. That might sound weird. I was going to save this for next week, but I'm going to say it really quick. But I want to take everyone back in time a moment, if you'll allow your brain to go there for a second with me. But last year, playing Austin Peay, I don't know how many of y'all remember that game, but after I watched Chattanooga play Austin Peay and beat them, I went back to that Tennessee Austin Peay game. But it was 6-3 with 7 seconds left in the second half, and Tennessee was driving, and then we'd score a touchdown in the waning seconds against Austin Peay. And I was sitting there like, well, I thought Virginia, we'd have a vanilla game plan. Maybe this is vanilla. But I feel like deep down inside, I kind of knew that that's what the offense had to be in order for it to operate in the situation it was in. And it became painfully obvious in Florida. And I want everyone next week when we play Chattanooga and we're in the last seconds of the first half to take a deep breath and enjoy Nico and know we're going to have him for a little bit of time before
you can bring that back up on Friday morning. Chase drops another 20 spot. That's Orange Boy. We appreciate it. We'll play the clip. That is completely the wrong clip. Let's try again.
Rocky Top!
Boogie's got that COVID brain. For 20, Chase says hasn't played against the SEC defenses. He's practicing against one of the best in the country. Dude, I saw a clip watching James Pierce go head-to-head with Lance Hurd the other day, and I'm like, how do you not think these guys are getting better? How do you not think a 5-star offensive tackle going against an elite defensive edge rusher, a guy that everybody's saying the number 1 overall draft pick, how do you not think these guys are getting better? All right, let's go. These are our official predictions. No more BS, no more games, no more maybe this, that, or the other. We're making our official Talkin VAWLS predictions tonight. First game out of the gate coming up. Man, oh man. It's a week and a half away. Chattanooga. And I also want to take note of the ESPN FPI. Coach Rice, do you take notice? Do you put any stock into the ESPN FPI? Because I do. I do. I think it's pretty dang accurate.
Yeah, I do. I like the way it does its computer inputs and numbers it gives us. But I like what the ESPN FPI puts out. I do think Tennessee, it was pretty accurate. The rest of in the top 20, in fact, I think the FPI is more into what the future of the program is in store. It's not ranking like a right now ranking. It's the actual where the program is as a program, not the current ranking. And so I really like that FPI, and I do think it's pretty accurate.
So we're going to take a look at that, and we're going to look at each opponent. So week 1, Chattanooga, FPI has them at 99% dub. Dauber, like all 4 of us are going to dub. But Dauber, what do you want to see week 1? What do you want to see week 1 against Chattanooga?
What you want to typically see in week 1, you want to see crisp, clean offense. You want to see gang tackling on defense. No penalties, no turnovers. Limited mistakes. You're going against a way inferior team. So you need to be clean. And I think that's the biggest thing. And I think that's what Coach Heupel and staff they're looking for. Be clean, be crisp, get out the first half with minimal effort and no injuries, and then get some other guys playing time.
Did you say something that offended Coach Rice?
I must have.
It's like, I'm out of here.
Like, I don't know what you said that made him so mad that he just bounced.
I got kicked out.
Welcome to StreamYard tonight. What the hell is going on? Rocky Top Tom drops a $10 super chat. We love Tom. Tom's the man. He says he said he always wants me to be. He's always like, yeah. Why does he want me to go woo and sound like an idiot? So I'll just do this.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying woo right here.
He says a bit late to the ball, but here, door. I feel like Rocky Top Tom is always like a day or two behind. Like I tweet something out and he responds to it. He's like, man, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. I'll see you tomorrow night. Like he does that today. And I'm like, well, we're streaming tonight, Tom. And I feel like he never knows. I feel like he's one of those boomers on Facebook that never really knows what's going on in the world. But I do love Tom. Shout out, Tom. All right, so we're all going for 1-0 after the Chattanooga game. NC State coming up next. Look at this FPI. Got Tennessee at almost 70%. 7:30 p.m. Eastern time kickoff. Charlotte game. Coach Jay, I know this is the game that you say is going to be a test for Tennessee. Who travels better? What's the stadium look like in Charlotte, North Carolina?
It needs to look orange, man. Go out there and buy your tickets if you guys ain't got them yet.
You think it's 2/3 orange? I'm going 2/3 orange.
I'm going 2/3. I think NC State will show up, but I think we can get 2/3 orange. And what I'm looking for in that game is our secondary is going to get tested in this game. Listen, our D-line is going to get after it in this game. NC State's got a serviceable offensive line, so they won't be totally helpless, but our defensive line is dominant. NC State has good enough coaches to know this. A very seniored and seasoned quarterback out of Coastal Carolina who's thrown for a lot of yards. They have a elite wide receiver corps. They're going to try to get the ball out early and often and quickly. A lot of misdirection stuff, a lot of quick stuff, quick slants, quick bubbles. Our secondary will be tested in this game, specifically early. They need to step up. These cornerbacks that we've been talking about, Jermod McCoy, Ricky Gibson, I'm looking at you guys, right? Because they're going to be throwing the ball early and often and quickly to try to get our defensive line to calm down a little bit, to try to avoid us blitzing a lot and bringing additional pressure and shortening that throw gap window. So our corners need to lace up the boots extra tight, put the women and children to bed, and go looking for dinner, right, Bud? That's what they need to do in that game. So
I love it, man.
I'm looking for the secondary to play.
Yes.
Game.
Yes. And I hope that kind of, because that's the big question, right? That, like, when you listen to national guys, it's Nico, it's James Pierce, and it's the secondary. Like, that's what all the national guys are talking about. But they're not putting any respect on Jermod McCoy and Ricky Gibson. I think we got two really good effing cornerbacks. I think the question is Christian Harrison, is Boo Carter, are they ready for that star position? Are our safeties ready? Somebody just said it in the chat, is Will Brooks ready? I don't know that Will Brooks is ready, and I get it. I'm gonna ride with him. I'm gonna support him, but he's a walk-on. And if that doesn't concern you, that a walk-on is starting at the University of Tennessee, if that doesn't concern you, I don't know what to tell you. That's a concern. And does that mean I hate Will Brooks and don't? No, it doesn't mean I don't support him, but it's a freaking concern. It is a concern that, to me, I question when Jacoby Thomas transferred from MTSU. Is he ready to make that step to the University of Tennessee and play elite competition? And when you're telling me that Will Brooks could start in his place, that tells me that he was not ready for that. And that tells me we've got a problem at safety. So I hope you're right, Coach. Or I hope same narrative. I hope coming out of the NC State game, everybody's going, damn, Tennessee's secondary is a little bit better than we thought. And then you've got another warm-up game against Kent State. So Dauber and Coach Rice, are all four of us going wins? Chattanooga, NC State, 2-0 at that point.
Yeah. I'm going 2-0. The key matchup for that NC State game is going to be Boo Carter and Christian Harrison versus Concepcion, the slot receiver for NC State. He's an elite wide receiver. They use him all over the place. They move him around, motion him around from the backfield, from the slot. That's going to be the key matchup in that game. And as long as with the first quarter, Coach Jay said that first quarter, if we can get out of that first quarter, and I really think we will, I think that defensive line is going to be the turning point of that whole game. James Pierce is going to cause some problems. We'll end up winning that game by 17 to 21 points.
Woo-wee! Coach Rice is with me. I'm going 2 to 3 scores. I'm going 2 to 3 scores in that game. Kent State, Tennessee favored 98.5%. We're all going, yes, that's a win. So Tennessee's 3-0 rolling into Oklahoma. This is where it gets interesting. The ESPN FPI has Tennessee at 40.1%. I know it's the same old song and dance. It's the same old conversation that I've had ever since the schedule came out. This is the turning. This is why when Josh Pate put out his video and he said FanDuel had Tennessee at 8.5 as the over under for the win total, and I'm saying hammer that, man. We're winning 9 games this year. There's no doubt in my mind, 9 games, and then it went up to 9.5, and I'm like, okay, calm down, sir. Let's pump the brakes because I don't know if I'm going 9 wins or 10 wins. And now it's dropped back down to 8.5. Again, hammering the over because everything for me hinges on this Oklahoma game. But these are the official Talkin VAWLS predictions. So you guys got to make a pick, Coach Rice. Get in where you fit in. Tennessee, Oklahoma, ESPN FPI 40%. Where are you going?
I said last week, I think this is a W. I think this is going to be a bigger point deficit than the NC State game. I think the NC State game, we went, like I said, about 14, 17, 21 points. You're going to call me crazy, but I'm thinking 24, 28. And this game, this is going to be the Nico coming out party. James Pierce is going to have 4 sacks in this game because our offensive line is just in shambles. And guys, this is where you see the Tennessee fire train, like the hype train, just like kick into 100th gear because it's going to get unreal when Tennessee beats Oklahoma at Oklahoma by 24, 28 points. It's just going to get unreal. It's going to create undefeated playoff expectations to an unsurreal point. And
so wait, hold on. You're saying Tennessee's going to beat them by 24 or 28 points?
Yep.
I thought you were saying 28-24. You're saying
nope.
4 touch?
Yep.
Boogie, I call this game the excuses game because this is the game after we're going to beat them by 24 to 28 points that all the other fan bases like Georgia and Alabama are going, yeah, well, they're just a Big 12 team. Yeah, well, they didn't really have an offensive line. yeah, Oklahoma's not that good. Well, Georgia's won all these games. Well, Georgia's won, 2 championships out of 500. Well, Alabama's got Kalen DeBoer in a good recruiting class. We're going to hear a lot of excuses after Nico goes into Norman and puts the Sooner or later to sleep.
So
I'm with you, Coach Rice.
What's your score prediction? It's way too early for this, but that's what we do.
21-25 points. I like to put him to bed in this game. I truly do. I believe that.
Sweet Jesus.
It's the matchup. It's a perfect matchup for
it is. Their offensive line is garbage, and I think that sets up well for Tennessee.
Their secondary isn't good either.
Dauber, what do you
Man,
why is this man? Why is this man up here doubting the NC State game? He's not doubting it, although I keep putting that little birdie in your all's ear. But good Lord, he says they're going to go out and beat Oklahoma by 3 touchdowns. Dauber, what do you got? I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't know what I'm about to predict.
Listen. I've been on this Talkin VAWLS network for a minute now, and I've done a lot of picks with my orange colored glasses on.
Oh, I would love to go back to that South Carolina game. I don't have that clip anymore. That was an epic clip. I don't have it anymore. I buried you, not me.
I don't know. This team is really good, and I'm really excited to see them play. And I am in the boat with Nico. I'm riding with Nico. I'm riding with Coach Josh Heupel. But the sample size right now is so small. I know that going on the road to Norman, there's going to be a lot of emotions. Josh Heupel coming home, all this other stuff. Oklahoma's first SEC game. I don't know. I can't see 3-4 touchdown. I mean, that's a bit.
We're not agreeing for the first time ever.
That's a bit much. But I don't think this team's going to go and roll over. I remember being in Neyland watching Tennessee, an undermatched Tennessee team, whip up on an Oklahoma team and then fizzle away. Mm-hmm. But it's a tall ask for any team to go on the road in conference play, much less go on the road. Your first game against a really good Oklahoma team. It's going to be a good game, man. Week 4 is going to that is the tell of the tape for this 2024 season. You come out with the W on that. That momentum is going to carry a long way. You come out with a loss, you're going to have some questions, and you're going to be looking for answers. It's going to be tight. It's going to be a tough game. I think I've got Tennessee dropping that game to Oklahoma.
Oh God! Should I kick him off the show?
No. Are you sure? It's a fair opinion built on a lot of reason, in my opinion. I think Dauber's opinion is a fair, reasonable opinion for all the reasons he stated. I truly believe that. I do. I think hey, you know what I think, man. You know what I think? I think Nico's going to go in there and put in work, man. I think he's cooler than the cool side of the pillow, man. I don't think he cares about the road, and I think that's what makes him special.
Listen, I hope I'm wrong.
This is what I think. I get that. This is what I think.
And you have to not lose the game before you can ever win the game.
Our pets' heads are falling off!
I love it.
Dauber's got battered ball syndrome.
I think he's scared.
I think he's scared. I think Dauber's scared.
48-24 is going to be the final score of that game.
Y'all are insane. Like, this is what's blowing my mind. Like, Dauber, I think Dauber's being a negaval. I think y'all are insane. I think you two are insane. Like, and I hope I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Give
my
me
gosh.
knuckles, Coach Jay.
Team insane. There you go, buddy.
Let me tell you something. We come out of that game and they win by 2 to 3 touchdowns. I'm just saying undefeated. It's over. Undefeated. National championship. We're going to win them all. Like I will have so much confidence if they come out of that game with, and like I said, I love the matchup. I love Tennessee's defensive line against their offensive line. I think Tennessee's going to score points. I just wish it was in Neyland Stadium. I think it's going to be a hostile environment. I think they are ready. I think they are ready to bring Josh Heupel back and abuse him, and that environment scares me. It does. It does.
You can be walking down the road like Conor McGregor after that game, man, with the
I hope
arms
so.
swinging.
Let me tell you something.
Out.
My official prediction.
Like, who the for these guys?
Dude, you. Let me tell you something. I'm picking a win here. I'm picking a win because I think it's like 8.5, 9.5, whatever the over and under is. I'm saying 10-2 college football playoff or bust. I just don't see like a 3-score win. I just don't. God, if they do.
Hey, listen, Boogie, I'm in deep with Nico, man. So I'm gonna catch hell if he don't get it done. So I'm on.
You
the
got to
boat,
ride or
man.
die.
I'm on the boat. I've got my sword, and it's either going in my heart or someone else's. Man, I'm first off the ship.
Listen,
they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose to NC State and then Oklahoma. You're gonna be pinned down. You say freedom. You should be screaming.
Listen, Boogie, I've got 10-2 as well, but I've got them dropping this game.
And
yeah,
then a
that
win
could
over
happen.
Alabama.
That could happen.
This is where it's getting weird because I'm on.
Man, stuff's crazy.
I'm going. Oh, I got 11 wins, not 10. That's what's about to happen. That's what's about to happen. We're about to get weird. All right, let's move on. Arkansas, 75% favorite, right at it. Some people are calling this a trap game between Oklahoma and Florida. I don't see that. Coach Rice, do you see it as a trap game in any way, shape, or form?
Nah, coming off a bye, it's good. Arkansas ain't gonna be ready. Sam Pittman, I think they're gonna get upset early in the season to a team they shouldn't lose to, and I see a lot of downward momentum for the Arkansas program, and Tennessee's just gonna help the fall of Sam Pittman.
Which I hate that because I love Sam Pittman. I'm gonna go home and have me a cold beer. I like that guy, but I don't think they have a chance. Anybody, if you disagree, say it. If not, we're all in agreement. Tennessee's 5-0 at this point.
No, Dauber's got us losing.
Dauber's got a loss, so
4-1.
4-1. Everybody else has us 5-0 at this point. So rolling into Florida, there's no way Tennessee loses this game for me.
We are getting Sunbelt Billy fired,
which I kind of hate, but I kind of like. I kind of hate, but I kind of like. But there's no way if Tennessee's 5-0, they're losing that game to me. So I've got Tennessee 6-0. I'm about to get weird because I see that Alabama game coming up next. I got Tennessee 6-0. Coach Jay, what do you got?
We're going to beat Florida. I'm not worried about Florida when he goes on campus.
God bless America. It's getting weird around here. We're delusional. Dauber, what about you? You got a loss to Oklahoma, so you got them at 4-1. We beat the Gators.
They're beating Florida.
Coach Rice?
If it's at Florida, it makes me worry. But being at Tennessee, it's the game changer. I think Nico is going to show, hey, I'm him. I'm about to dominate Florida for the next 2 years. And Tennessee fans just got to go crazy, man, because that Alabama game the next week, woo, boy, let's go. 6-0 going into Bama.
See, we're halfway through the season. 3 of us are at 6-0. 1 of us is at 5-1. This is why it's weird to me, because I think Tennessee can lose that Oklahoma game. And that's why I've struggled with my predictions. But I hate when I go watch Josh Pate and I go watch J.D. Pickell and they're like, oh, they could win 9 or 10. Well, you're cheating. You're cheating. You're not making your official predictions when you give me 2 different win totals. So these are the official Talkin VAWLS win-loss predictions. You're writing them down, Coach Rice?
Writing them down.
I love it. Take receipts. Scotty O's for 5 says Oklahoma is so bad that Nico doesn't have to play in the second half. Sign me up for that. Sign me up for that. We got 421
I'm all
people
in.
live right now. We're about to go full steam ahead. Tomorrow night, Thursday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's a makeup stream. We're going to do EA Sports College Football. You guys have a chance to come on, go head-to-head with me. I'm 13-3 against the chat. And the 3 guys I lost to all cheated. They all cheated. I'm undefeated against Coach Rice.
I'll be
I'm
here tomorrow night.
2-1 against Coach Jay. Knoxville Predator Catcher has no shot. I'm 2-1 against him. But look, like check this out. Hold on, check this out. I put this new, dang it, where's my mouse? Why is my mouse? It's gone. I can't see. Oh, there it is. All right. Check out this new banner that I created for EA Sports Streams. So challenge me head to head, $50 super chat. I'm 13-3 versus the chat, but I'm gonna put the losses on the leaderboard. So I've lost to Knoxville Predator Catcher once. I've lost to Coach Jay once. I've lost to Joel Certain once. So you want your name.
I'll be on that board tomorrow night, buddy.
You want your name on the loss board. We're not going to call it the leaderboard. We're going to call it the loss board. I've lost 3 times. Knoxville Predator Catcher cheated the first. Me and Coach Jay, we've had some good games. I screwed him the first time. He had the game for 5 minutes and I beat him. We're basically 500. But man, both of the games after that have been fun. So yeah, we got a leaderboard now. You beat me, you're going on that leaderboard tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Come hang out for that. Always a good time. Friday, we're going live at 12 o'clock, noon. We're going live for Onus Conan Banny. He's trending to Tennessee. We're going to cover that commitment live. Nothing coming up on Saturday. Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. David Sanders is going to be in the house. And then we're full steam ahead. Monday morning, 9 a.m. With Eric Kane of VolQuest.com, Locked On Vols. Tuesday night, EA Sports College Football. Wednesday night, Talkin Vols live. Friday morning, me and Coach Jay. Saturday.
What's happening Saturday?
It's freaking game day. Saturday morning, tailgate show, an hour before kickoff. It's just like a fan call-in show, which we're going to do on Sunday after Sanders leaves. We're going to do a fan call-in show Sunday night. But also tailgate show on Saturday, an hour before kickoff, and a post-game show. God, it doesn't feel real. But if you also want to support the channel, you can go check out the Talkin Vols merchandise. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin Vols. I want to show off some of the merch. I don't do it enough. We got this brand new VWO shirt, Vol World Order. Everybody's telling me that the orange on the t-shirt looks great, that it's Tennessee orange. Not so much on the hoodies. This orange is not the right orange. Don't get that. You can get it on the t-shirt. It looks great. We got gray, we got black, we got whatever you want. Again, bonfire.com/store/Talkin Vols. We got this shirt. If you like to talk Cruton with Boogie and the coaches, that's a Coca-Cola font for Talkin Vols. You can check that out. We also got a lurker shirt. If you hang out in the chat and you never comment, you never interact, you never engage, this is the Animal House font, lurker. Let people know you're a lurker of the Talkin Vols network. We can scroll on down here. What do we got here? We got Knoxville, Tennessee. This is a great shirt. People at the gym were harassing my wife. Where'd you get that shirt? She's like, I don't want to tell them that you're a YouTuber. So I just told them where they could get it. The chosen one. It's got an 8-ball emoji. I don't know why. Cult of 8. I don't know what that means. Talkin Vols letter theme shirt. This is clean, man. Danny White brought back the Vol letters. We kind of mimicked that. We got cult member shirts because we're a cult, FUGA. I don't know what that means. Gator Hater TriStar shirts, Buck Fama. I don't know what that means. Look, we got a big election coming up. We got a huge election coming up. It's going to change the future of the country. And there is only one vote, and that is Boogie and Dauber in 2024. All kinds of fun merch. Go over there, bonfire.com/store/Talkin Vols. We appreciate your support. Let's get back into it. We're halfway through. 3 of us are at 6-0. Dauber's at 5-1. You got Alabama coming up next. I'll go first because, again, it's getting weird because I'm not ready to say 11 wins. But we got to buy in. We got to get in where you fit in. And if I'm picking Tennessee to beat Alabama, I've said it over and over and over. If they're 5-0, when Florida comes to town, that's a win. If they're 6-0 when Alabama comes to town, that's a win. So I'm going 7-0 right here, Coach Jay. Tennessee's win chance is 42%, according to the ESPN FPI. How are you feeling if we're 6-0? Alabama, you know, College Game Day is going to be here. We're going to do something special, some type of alternate unis, something's going to be going on that Saturday in Knoxville.
Yeah.
And you're undefeated in Neyland Stadium.
I'm undefeated in Neyland Stadium. Coach Shea will be showing up. He will be bringing his lucky tie that Ramon Foster gave him during a ball walk at the Rose Bowl. I've also never lost a game while wearing that tie in some manner. Yeah, so I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to be there. I can't wait to finally catch a Bama game with Tennessee. You know, it's such a magical rivalry over the years. So I'm super excited. I know people are saying the black uniforms that day, but I've actually never seen Tennessee in their orange uniforms in Neyland, which is like kind of a crime. So I really, really like every time I've seen them in Neyland, they've been in an alternate union. So
I think they're going to wear black for Kentucky.
Yeah. So I'm kind of hoping we get our orange uniforms, because I have literally seen every uniform combination, but the OG oranges. So I'm kind of hoping we go classic for a classic rivalry.
Go all orange. All
orange
pants.
I wish we could go back to orange versus crimson. Like, it's not black and white anymore. We can see the difference in the colors.
Yeah, I would love it. Yeah, Coach Shea gonna be on the plane with a twinkle in his eye. Hope I get to meet a lot of y'all again, like I did last year. Awesome meeting Dauber last year. Unfortunately, he won't be there, I know, this year. Yeah, man, looking forward to it. I always love my trips to Knoxville. It's great for me, and maybe there'll be a little magic in the air with Nico there, and we pull in a win.
Hey, what the hell was your prediction?
I just said it. I just said a little magic in the air. We're going to pull down a win for old Coach Jay.
7-0. 7-0.
But we lose to Kentucky. No, I'm just kidding.
Good God bless America. Vanderbilt.
Imagine we win all those games, but then lose to Kentucky.
Oh, no. Stop. What the hell? Dauber, what do you got?
Listen, I think both Alabama and Tennessee are coming into this 5-1. And Tennessee's going to come out 6-1.
That boy Dauber. I think we're gonna be hearing Dixieland Delight again.
Dixieland, what's that?
Dixieland Delight.
Oh.
Trolling the Alabama fans. At the end of the game, we're gonna be smoking those cigars, and the boar is gonna feel the wrath of the Tennessee pride, and he's gonna be like, dude, I gotta go in there every other year. That's not gonna be fun. So Tennessee's gonna be 7-0 after the Alabama game.
Taylor says 4,000 viewers on the stream Sunday night, calling it now. Y'all think so? We had 4,700 for the commitment. I don't think it's gonna be that big. I don't think it will be. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be fun. Y'all got to share the word. Let people know that David Sanders is going to be here, man, because like I said, that's going to make George want to come on. That's going to make some of these other commits want to come on. Trevor says, weren't you saying 9-3 before the offseason boogie? Yeah, I've kind of been at 9-3, but when we have to get down to, official predictions,
brass tacks,
man, I don't know. I cannot pick Tennessee to lose to Oklahoma. I'm right between 9 and 10 wins, but like when push comes to shove and I got to make my predictions, I got to get them where I fit in. Ron the Don for 2 says if we get 10 wins, it sounds like 11-1 to me. Ron, that's kind of where I'm at because I'm picking Tennessee over Alabama because there's no way in hell we lose to them after starting the season 6-0. There's no way on God's green earth that we lose to Alabama after opening the season 6-0, and they're coming to Neyland Stadium in a hostile environment. You talk about 2022, that environment, you don't think this is going to be even more hostile? Like, are you kidding me? We turned the tide against Alabama. We turned the tide against Florida. I'm off the rails because I can't talk myself out of it. If we beat Oklahoma, it's going to be a special year, boys. It is. And I think I've talked myself into we're going to beat Oklahoma, Kentucky. Man, we are their daddy. 80% favorite. We're beating
You don't
Kentucky.
even have to ask.
I mean, look. I think we're all in agreement. So, like, I don't think I even need to ask you guys. I don't think we need to even talk about it. I don't think we need to even add any analogy to it. Let's just play this clip.
Mark Stoops is 2-9 against this team, and to walk around this place before the game, I was disgusted. The smugness of those guys just walking around like, we're going to walk in here, we're going to kick your ass, and you can't do anything about it. And it made me sick. And you know what? They did it. They still did it. What the hell? Can we just beat this team? I know that Mark Stoops has done a lot of good things. This is his one really bad thing. The stupid stat about beating teams with a winning record and taking the next step and blah, blah. Just freaking beat Tennessee. Please, can we just stop losing to this stupid team with their stupid orange color, their stupid
Are we in agreement, boys? Dub across the board? Yeah.
Put it on.
I love that.
Mississippi State, 83.5%. We're all going dub there. Georgia. For me, I'm going loss, man. It's on the road. I just don't think. I think we are closing the gap. I don't think we're there yet. I think maybe 2025, 2026, we start to do that. But that's my one loss. It's my one loss. I'm a nut job. I'm going 11-1. Coach Jay?
I think. God,
Say it's a dub. Say it's a dub.
I want it.
Say it's a dub. Say it's a dub.
I think Nico can win that game, but I got Nico beating him in the playoffs in the championship, not in
Sign me up.
Not in this moment. It's hard to beat a team twice. I think Georgia pulls out a squeaker here. Nico puts the fear of God into him, and I think the second time around, Tennessee gets him.
Oh gosh, we'll be celebrating all night. We will stream all night. Coach Rice,
He took the words literally out of my mouth. I had the exact
game too. Yeah,
exact. I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's the exact same prediction I have written on my notes. Tennessee loses to Georgia during the season and beats them in the playoff.
There you go.
Let me tell y'all something though. If
If
Tennessee's undefeated, rolling into that game after Mississippi State, you know what I'm going to be saying on Locked On Vols? You know what I'm going to be saying on every press appearance I do that week? Tennessee's rolling. I'm taking Vols over Georgia. There's no doubt in my mind. If they're undefeated, I'm taking Tennessee over Georgia that week. Dauber, do you have the confidence? How you feeling about that Georgia game?
Georgia is my second loss.
Yeah.
That's a deep dive, so we appreciate it. Georgia's Georgia, man. What are you going to say? UTEP, Vanderbilt, that's it. So, do three of us really have Tennessee at 11-1? Because I was between 9 and 10, but my official prediction, I'm going 11-1. Coach Jay, Coach Rice, 11-1. Dauber, 10-2, probably a little bit more realistic. I like it.
I have taken off those orange glasses and put on some clear glasses.
But I think it's easier when you go, all right, what is Tennessee's record for 2024? I can say 10-2. That's easy because they could lose to Alabama, they could lose to Oklahoma, they could lose to Georgia. But when you sit down and go game by game and you got to say this is a win or a loss, that's a little bit more difficult, right? Like it's different. Like Tennessee 10-2. If you told me what's their record going to be in 2024, I'd probably say 10-2. But when I have to break it down game by game, that's a little different.
So
9-3 hits the over for us, right? 9-3 hits our.
It's been shifting. Over. It's been 8.5 to 9.5.
My picks are based on going on the road to Norman,
sure,
and then Georgia. If we were playing Oklahoma in Knoxville, I've got us winning that game.
100%.
And that's the difference in if we were at Alabama on the road, it's going to be a toss-up game. And honestly, that game in Norman is a toss-up game. And I've got Oklahoma getting the edge because they're at home. And it's early. It's an early game. So, we win that game, man.
Yeah.
And
it matters how the season falls too. I mean, think about
absolutely.
this, guys. Like is Mays healthy all year? Do we get production out of the car? All these little inches equal the yards you need throughout a football season. How does it actually go down? People will ask me, and I'm sure Coach Rice, you too, Dauber, like, oh, would you be happy with 9-3? What if it is 8-4? Well, what the hell happened? Tell me that, and then I'll tell you if I'm happy with it or not.
Yeah.
Because how the journey happens is really freaking applicable to how I feel about it.
So we didn't even touch this. So Cam Seldon.
Yeah.
Is this what we heard about Cooper Mays, last year going in, he's ready. He's good. He's good. He's good. Is this the same thing that we're hearing about Seldon? He's good. He'll play. Is he healthy?
I'm not worried about it. I think
Sean
Sean Bishop and Peyton Lewis are without a doubt.
I hope Bishop is. I have doubts about him, but God dang, man, they talk about him every single scrimmage. And I don't think running back is a position that you really need to be elite in Josh Heupel's offense. I really don't. I think you need to be efficient.
With the quarterback we have now and with the group of receivers, I agree with you, Boogie. Man, that's like twice in one show.
What the hell is going on? What is going on?
We're in the multiverse.
Weird.
All right, so while we're doing it to finish up, because I guess we're closing up the show.
I love that Coach Rice is going to wrap it.
All right, so I got 3 bold predictions I wrote down in my notes 2 weeks ago. Nico visits New York is bold prediction number 1. James Pierce leads the nation in sacks with 18. And Boo Carter leads Tennessee in interceptions.
What do y'all think about James Pierce for Heisman? Like everybody, if you play EA Sports College Football, he's in the Heisman race. Every single year for the first year, and then he's a first-round draft pick.
Yep.
I got to see it to believe it. I think teams are going to try to do things to shut him down, but I think that's going to benefit our defense.
That opens the door for other guys.
Yeah.
Joshua Josephs and company are going to change that after the first couple games. They're like, oh, shit, we can't double James Pierce because Joshua Josephs is a beast.
Yes, sir.
So
that's the beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Look at my eye. Look at my eye. You see this? Look.
It's twitching.
Don't cry. Don't
I'm
cry.
Crying.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Why are you wearing a toboggan hoodie? I don't know, because I have 103 temperature, but I'm on here doing Talkin VAWLS live for 2 hours. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to be live tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, EA Sports College Football 25. I'm going to destroy you guys. I'm basically undefeated against anybody that doesn't cheat. We're going to continue that theme tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Come hang out for that. Friday at noon, Onus Conan Banny is coming off the board. Me and Coach Jay will cover you for that. Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Big Dave Sanders is going to be on the channel. All kinds of fun content. That's going to do it for tonight. Shout out to Coach Jay. Shout out to Coach Rice. Shout out to Dauber. Man, we are full steam ahead. Make sure you get in where you fit in. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
Rocky Top!